We start off with seeing some weird-looking people saying that they have bestowed upon the oracle and that the hero will soon appear. After that, we get to Monday, and Nagumo says that it's arguably the most depressing day in a week, and that he is sure that most people think like him, thinking that part of the reason is because he just spent last night gaming till sunrise, and that there's this unavoidable situation he doesn't like. As he enters the classroom, a girl called Kaori tells him good morning. She laughs and says that he was almost late again and tells him to go earlier next time. He just laughs awkwardly as he says good morning back. Nagumo then thinks that Kaori is known as one of the 2 goddesses of this school, and because of that, being in a situation with her will attract a lot of unwanted animosity from the students, which we can clearly see here, and it's also another part of the reason he hates school. He says he imagines people wonder why a gamer nerd is close with Kaori, and another one thinks that Nagumo is only trouble for Kaori. However, Nagumo says that his motto is that he will not give in before telling us that his dad is a game developer and his mother is a shoujo mangaka, so he has a lot of knowledge and skills in both fields, and that he's already decided what he's going to be in the future. That's when he wonders why someone like Kaori, someone who is hailed as the most beautiful in the school, associates herself with him, wondering why she looks so happy hearing him return her greeting, wondering if it might be that she likes him. However, he says that there's no way, and the reason is because of the existence of these 3. Firstly, we have Shizuku, who is Kaori's best friend. She won a perfect record in a kendo tournament and is now known as the gorgeous swordswoman. Next up is Kuki, who has a kind personality and a strong sense of justice, calling him a perfect man. Lastly, there's Ryutaru, who is Kuki's best friend and is super tall and also has good physical abilities. Kuki asks Nagumo when he is going to stop fawning over Kaori and says that she can't give him attention forever. Nagumo just thinks that he wants her to leave him alone actually, but Kaori then speaks up and says that she is just talking to Nagumo because she wants to, which makes all of them look at Nagumo angrily, wondering why it's always him. Nagumo then wishes for all of them to get summoned to some other world, and just then a real magic circle appears in the whole classroom, and it looks like it got everyone in there, even though they tried their best to leave, and they then teleport away. Nagumo then wakes up and looks around before he wonders what just happened. Kuki tells everyone that something strange just happened, and he tells everyone to calm down and to make sure that everyone is unharmed. After that, the weird guy from earlier speaks up, and he welcomes the hero, saying that he has been waiting for his arrival, telling them that he is Pope of the Church of Saints, Ishtar Lombard. Before explaining that the preparations are done and to please follow him, he tells them all to please be seated and to enjoy the drinks that they have provided, telling them that it might help ease the confusion he is sure that they are feeling, and that he will explain everything. Ishtar tells them that this is a world parallel to theirs, called Tortoise. It is their one and only god who they worship, who summoned them to this world. Compared to theirs, the world Ishtar is from, is far more superior, telling them that they have powers that far surpass the humans of this world. Since long ago, they have been at war with the demons who rule the southern part of this world, but lately, strange things have started happening, and now the humans face danger that may lead them to their ruin. However, to save them from such a horrible fate, they were brought to this world. Nagumo just wonders what that old man is going on about, thinking that there's no way that he actually teleported to another world. Suddenly, someone called Aiko speaks up. She says that this is a horrible joke and asks the old man if he even has permission to do this, and that she will sue him for kidnapping. 2 other girls called Eri and Ryo cheer her on. Anyway, Aiko then tells the old man to return them to school at once. Ishtar says that it will be problematic, and he thinks that they all should go outside and take a breather. Kuki then goes to Ishtar and says that he said that humans are at war with the demon, asking Ishtar if there are any other races besides the 2 of them living in this world. Ishtar laughs and asks if he believes his words. Kuki says that he doesn't, however, that he has no choice but to believe him. Nagumo thinks that it's just like how Kuki said, and that transporting a whole class is outright impossible. Anyway, we then get back to the question, and Ishtar says that in Tortoise there are 3 major races: humans who govern the north, demons who rule the south, and the demi-humans who inhabit the forests in the east. The war of humans against demons has been going on for hundreds of years, but there have not been any major clashes in recent years. Then the demons started using monsters, and the tides of the war have greatly turned. To answer the pleas of the humans, the god of this world summoned them here. After that, Ishtar opens the door and tells them that if they still question which world they are in at this moment, then they can confirm it with their own eyes now. He opens the door, and everyone sees that they are in some mountains, and they then start to believe him. Nagumo then asks if he can ask a question, and he asks Ishtar that if he could summon them to this world, then he could surely return them back to their world. They all agree with Nagumo, but Ishtar tells them that he is very sorry, but that it's not something he can do, as it was his boss, someone with a super hard name to say, so I will just call him God. Ishtar tells them that he is just a mere human who does not possess the power to do such a feat. Nagumo thinks that it's one shitty god to worship, and if these people worship a god that shitty, then there's something wrong with them and this world. Ishtar then looks at them coldly and tells them that whether they are able to return to their world or not is entirely up to the god to decide. We then get to the in-town holdword. Nagumo says that it's been 2 weeks since they were summoned to this world tortoise, and that they should really gather more information soon. He thinks that tomorrow they are heading to the Orcus dungeon for battle practice, and he wonders why he is even studying right now. We then get to some time earlier where we see Aiko, who says no, and that Ishtar can't send these kids to war, and that it's his own war. Ishtar asks her why they are so against it, and that being chosen by God himself is a great honor. Aiko then continues her crash out, but Kuki comes by and says that they are thinking of fighting for this world and that they want to save it from destruction. After all, there must be a meaning for why they are summoned to this world. After he says that, all of them agree and say that they are on board with it. Kuki looks at them and thanks them and says that they will all return to their world together. After that, we see someone who calls them mighty heroes, and he thanks them for their cooperation. He says that he is the commander of King Harihi's knights, Meld Rogans. Meld tells them to cut to the chase and says that they have all given them a status plate. He tells them that it will record their status in numeric form, and it will also be used as an identification card, so he tells them all to never lose it. He explains that they need to spill a drop of blood on it with the needle they have, and then it will register them as its owner. It looks like Nagumo got the class Synergist and skills Transmute and Language Comprehension. Meld then tells them that on the plates are written their stats in numbers, class name, and a list of their skills, explaining that their class is similar to their talent, while skills are abilities that they have learned. Nagumo thinks that all of his stats are at 10, and he wonders if that isn't really good, but Meld then tells them that 10 points is average, and Nagumo quickly gets disappointed, but it then just continues as Meld says that he is sure that most of them will have a lot higher than 10. Meld then tells them to report their plates. Kuki starts and says that his class is hero and that his stats are all at 100 and that his skills are too many to say. Meld goes to him and says that it's to be expected. Someone else then taps on Nagumo's shoulder and says that he wants to see his. However, he and a couple more of his classmates just laugh at Nagumo and call him pretty much worthless. We also learn that his class Synergist is a crafting class. We then learn that he is called Daisuke, and Nagumo thinks that he really hates him. We then see Kaori behind him, who gets angry. She goes to him and tells him not to worry, and that she also has average stats and a non-combat class, and she tells Nagumo to do their best. However, Meld then sees that Kaori is a farmer, and that he has never seen one before, and tells them to hurry and contact the church. After that, we get back to Nagumo in his room, who says that he doesn't have any strengths. Thinking that he wanted to cover it up with some useful knowledge but that he couldn't find anything, he looks at his card and thinks that his stats only went up a little in these past 2 weeks, and the worst thing is that he doesn't have any affinity for magic. Thanks to that, he can't even do much with the only skill he has, Transmute. He thinks that his class, Synergist, can manipulate and process material using magic and, say, create weapons with it. However, he was expecting something more awesome like what the Synergists or alchemists do in TV and games, but he couldn't even make one good weapon. Suddenly it knocks on his door, and he wonders who it could be this late. Suddenly he hears Kaori's voice asking if he is still up, and she asks if she can come in. Nagumo freaks out, but says that he will open up the door. Kaori apologizes for bothering him at this hour, but says that she wanted to talk about something. Nagumo looks like a ghost, and Kaori says that it's fine, and that she will come back another time. But Nagumo snaps back and says that it's fine, and asks if there is some urgent information he should know. Kaori blushes and says that she just wanted to talk to him and asks if that's too much of a bother, but Nagumo just lets her in more and wonders what is going on. Nagumo apologizes as he has nothing else to offer her the teish liquid, but she says that it's okay and thanks him very much. They then drink the tea and Nagumo asks her what she wanted to talk about. She says that it's about the combat practice tomorrow, and she tells Nagumo that she wants him to stay and wait in town. Nagumo asks her why, but Kaori tells him that she saw a nightmare. Nagumo couldn't hear her, no matter how loud she screamed, and he kept going, further and further, and then he just vanished. Nagumo is surprised, but Kaori tells him that she is nervous, and that she doesn't want anything bad to happen. Nagumo tells her that it's just a dream and that Meld will be there with them tomorrow and that there will be a lot of strong guys like Kuki there, so it's their enemies she should worry about. Kaori then changes the topic and asks Nagumo if he remembers the time in middle school when he was kneeling down in the middle of the street, explaining that a little kid bumped into some punk and spilled something on his clothes. His mother kept bowing while apologizing, scared as much as her son. Nagumo says that he was just a passerby and that he should have just ignored it, but that his body moved on its own when that man raised his hands at that little boy. Of course, he was too big of a man for him, so in the end he kept kneeling down and begging for his forgiveness. Nagumo says that he had no idea that Kaori saw that and calls it embarrassing, but Kaori says that he is wrong and says that he was amazing back there, telling him that it's easy for strong people to solve their problems through violence, that people like Kuki usually solve situation by defeating their weaker foes, so it's rather amazing to see someone weak standing up to their adversaries despite of the odds. Kaori says that at that time she was also really scared, not strong herself, so she thought of asking for help from someone, but everybody else around her didn't seem to care, which is why Kaori was so happy when she found him in high school, but that he was always so sleepy when she wanted to talk with him. Kaori says that ever since that day, Nagumo he is the strongest person in her heart. Nagumo thinks that there's no way and thinks that it's the reason she cared for him. Nagumo thanks Kaori but says that he isn't as strong as she thinks. He says that he is the type who always avoids troublesome situations and he hates himself for being so weak. He always feels jealous of and inferior to other people. Nagumo says that with his stats he's just a burden to everyone and that he thinks that his existence doesn't mean much in this world. Because let's be honest, what use does he have if he can't even protect anything? Kaori doesn't back down and says that even so he is the strongest in her heart. She tells him to look at these books, as despite everything he still wanted to be useful, so he studied. Kaori tells him that she has always admired that part of him. He knows that he is weak, but that he has the courage to do something when push comes to shove. Kaori tells Nagumo that she doesn't mind his bad parts, and that anyone can get stronger if they want to, but the strength of the heart isn't something you can get easily. Nagumo looks to be in awe as he thinks that this is the first time anyone has approved of him. Kaori continues and says that it's why she is worried and that she doesn't want him to do anything reckless and is about to ask him to stay back again. But Nagumo interrupts her and says, how about he depends on her to protect him? Saying that her class is a healer, he says that he is kind of frail, so he wants her to protect him with her ability. Both smile, and Nagumo says that it's kind of embarrassing to ask a girl to protect him, but that he promises that he will do his best to get stronger. Kaori says that she understands and says that she will protect him.